Oh, hello, you beautiful soul. So I had a message come through for a collective of very highly evolved souls, okay? This message may not be for everybody. As a matter of fact, it's not for everybody, but you will know if it resonates deep in your soul. And yeah, so this is for the dreamers, okay? The word dreamers was coming through. Also, I was getting architects, okay? And Spirit was saying that you are the architects of the new earth. I was also getting these words come in like grid, timeline, blueprint. Okay. And Isis came through, Goddess Isis came through, and Osiris. Okay. And this might resonate with some of you carrying the Isis or Osiris codes, right? And I'm sorry, correct me, Candice, correct yourself. The Isis codes would be resurrection codes, okay? And I was getting this resurrection of the original blueprint and restoration of the original blueprint, okay? So some of you might resonate with doing work with your guides, your spirit team, your higher self to call back this sacred energy that is yours, call back your power, right? And this is similar to the story of Isis. I just looked up and saw one for one that could resonate, but Isis in the story gathered all of the fragmented pieces of Osiris to resurrect him, right? To restore his body and resurrect his soul. So that could resonate with some of you. Another thing I was getting was that you possibly in your past, okay, and I was getting two different energies. There was this energy of 222 on the timer of complacency, right? Being too much in the receptive, too much in stagnancy, too much in hiding, too much in fear. And both messages or both energies I was picking up, and this is likely past energy, right? Where you were in the past not balanced in your energies, right? So you would either be stuck and stagnant, complacent, or you would be kind of like a dog chasing its tail. And that's what Spirit was showing me, was like this looping energy, just chasing your tail, right? So before the awakening process, before the integration of both of these energies, the doing, the receiving, the masculine, the feminine, you know, we would either fall into or shift back and forth from complacency, stagnation to overdoing over everything, doing the most, doing too much, right? And not actually being productive, right? Because there's a difference between being busy and being productive. And so Spirit was saying that you have, or you are now, okay, so if this message isn't resonating with current energies, this is meant to activate and to remind you to stay true to your path and your purpose, because you are heading in the right direction, right? And this direction is doing the shadow work and the shedding necessary and raising your frequency, okay? So we, in our feeling space, we have our thoughts, feelings, and actions, right? And that's kind of how I was seeing the Trinity, right? And we can think of the Trinity in so many different ways. You can break it down into so many different, you know, source, masculine, feminine, you know, thoughts, feelings, actions. Like there's so many different ways to form this Trinity, this triangle. But Spirit was showing me that it was about you aligning your feelings, your thoughts, and your actions, right? And you were willing to do the shadow work, right? Necessary as far as your feeling space, and shed, remove, clear out all of the stuck and stagnant energies that are not serving your highest purpose or the highest good of anything. So by doing the shadow work, you have elevated yourself, your frequency, right? And then you are willing to evaluate your mental state, right? That rhymes. To evaluate yourself mentally, right? And see what shifts needed to be made, what thought patterns needed to be, broken, what cycles needed to be broken, and really just aligning with a healthy mindset, right? Or reprogramming your mind. You might have done subliminals. You might not be a stranger to subliminals, or even just listening to things like repetitively, so that you can just kind of saturate your mind with a certain way of thinking, just shifting your mindset, reprogramming yourself, right? Reprogramming also your self-worth is what I was getting. So by doing this, by doing these 3 things and aligning with your higher guidance system, it puts you into a position where you can follow these inspired actions, right? These aligned actions, actions that are aligned based on your higher frequency and your mindset, because that's how we truly manifest and bring in, anchor in the reality that we truly desire to experience, right? So Spirit was saying that now you have the confidence and trust within yourself and with your inner knowing. And like I said, if you do not feel like you have that confidence right now, I invite you to accept this activation, because there is an activation attached to this message. And it is to activate your remembrance and anchor in your own trust within yourself, your guidance system. Okay. So again, I invite you to accept that invitation to sit with yourself and truly ask your guides, your higher self, what it is that you need to release in order to truly trust yourself and your mission and your inner knowing, your guidance system. So, again, Spirit was just like really emphasizing the shifting out of being and sitting too much, and I say sitting because you could still be moving and be stagnant. But your energy just not taking the inspired action comes from fear, right? It comes from a fear place because you're not taking the actions that deep inside of you need to be taken, right? Maybe you're just scared. Whatever it is, we have to move through and face our fears in order to balance. And then also doing too much, right, creates chaos. And just like that dog running through, and I'm also seeing like a bull in a china shop, just like doing the most and breaking everything, not helping the situation by any means necessary, and exhausting energies and creating chaos and being stuck in these loops. So if you are already in a position where you have aligned yourself with that inner union, your divine masculine, your divine feminine, your source energy, God consciousness, all within the same vessel, congratulations, you're amazing. You're doing it. I was hearing like I was hearing like someone just shouting like, you did it, right? Like you did it. Or someone's like jumping up and down. They're like, I did it. Yes, you did, right? You have done the work. You have earned whatever it is that you're stepping into. Okay. So the divine blueprints, right? The codes, the keys that you carry now moving forward are going to be activated, right? Because it's whenever we stay obedient to our soul, right? And to God consciousness, when we answer the call to remember who we are and we do the work necessary, email confirmation, we do the work necessary to align ourselves with our soul's purpose, right? We get to experience the bliss. And I just kept hearing this message of like, you can't keep doing God's work. You can't keep aligning yourself with with divinity and not expect that to be bestowed upon you, I guess. More divinity, more gifts, right? More activations. And the same thing applies to practice, right? So if you yourself, practice divination in any way, or you channel from God, and you've been practicing these things and you've been getting more confident and comfortable with your gifts and your abilities, right? And doing the work of God, you're going to be given more gifts, right? You're going to be given more activations. Your soul is waiting for you to remember and to step into this power. And by simply having the desire to dig deeper is really the only thing that's needed for elevation, right? Is your willingness to dig deeper, to see deeper, and seek the truth. So I love you guys. You're amazing. 11:11 on the timer. You're beautiful, and you're needed, and you're wanted, and so sacred and beloved. That word has been coming through a lot, beloved, because it is your willingness, it is your drive, it is that inner pull that you have chose not to resist. And you're worthy of everything. I love you.